Hi, welcome to another episode of Look Ma No Hands. My name is Linda. On my channel, I like to talk about my hobbies, which include crochet, painting, reading, the things that I watch on TV, and sometimes when I go to the movies. So yeah, every once in a while I talk about daily activities in my life, just goings on here and there. So let's jump right into what I've been stitching this week. I guess I've kind of decided to stay fairly monogamous with my circle to square blanket project. I kind of got a little bit of a rhythm going in terms of how I'm completing it. So basically what I've been doing is 10 squares at a time. I start by doing the 10 circles, and then when I'm done with 10 circles, I go ahead and change from the gray yarn to the yellow yarn and square off each circle one by one. That seems to be working out pretty good. I can pretty much finish a batch of squares in a week, so that's how I'm going so far. I have 10 circles that need to be squared off, and then 10 more to make to get the 50 that I need for the one color that I'm working on with the gray part. Then I will switch over and do the 49 squares that I need for the second color of gray, and then it'll be time to put them all together into the blanket. So it looks like I'll probably have just enough yarn of both color, well, all three colors, the two different colors of gray and the yellow yarn that I'm using. I'm really hoping I don't run out. I'll be so upset. I'll have to figure out some other way to join the squares if I run out of yellow. But we'll see what happens. I really like doing projects where I just kind of am using up what I have in my supply of yarn. I don't want to go out and buy any more yarn for projects unless I'm like on vacation and I'm going to like a little yarn shop that is local to the location where I'm vacationing. I've done that a couple of times now. Oftentimes that tends to be more of like the artisan yarns that are a little more expensive, the hand-dyed, hand-spun, specific to whatever region of the country that I'm visiting. So I'm being very intentional with my purchases in that way, trying to avoid any of the crazy sales that have been going on. Just like, they're fun to look at, fun to shop at, but not actually like purchase anything. So I've been trying to practice restraint in all of that. I avoid going into like the store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or any of those kind of like big box stores where like I see it, I want it, I have to have it, can't resist. As long as I'm not in the store, I tend to be able to kind of browse online and not actually like commit to the purchase. So yeah. Let me know how you are doing with your collection of yarn, if you're making that commitment to stitching down the stash, so to speak, or if you just can't resist the urge to spend money on our beautiful craft. I'm really hoping to just stitch down what I have so that I can then rebuild my collection to my own vision. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I have big plans for all of my scraps to just kind of like make some kind of like one big project once I have all of the yarn stitched up into projects from like full skeins. Then whatever I have left over, I'm going to try and figure out some kind of project, either a big project or a bunch of little projects. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, that's my plan so far. This week, what I've been reading, I only finished one book this week because it was a pretty long book. It was called The Four Winds by Kristin, and I really loved this book. It was kind of like a historical fiction story that was set during the Dust Bowl the 1930s in the United States. And I always like reading anything like history related, anything that kind of like takes me out of current times and helps me understand the past. This was a really well written book, kind of reminded me of Willa Cather and like Oh Pioneers, which is one of my favorite novels of all time. It just had that like very real feeling, like the characters were just so well developed. The relationships between the characters were very believable. The main character, Elsa, is like the person that we kind of follow through this whole story. She's a young adult in the 1930s, lives with her parents, who are one of the more well-off families in town. They kind of own a bunch of smaller farms that people kind of like come to them to like rent the farm land from them. Elsa has sisters who the parents deem more beautiful than her, and she had had rheumatic fever, I believe it was, when she was a child, which weakened her heart and just made her very sickly and things like that. And her parents just kind of labeled her as like the less desirable of their children. They felt that she wasn't beautiful and she was too frail and all of these things. And they really kind of had her internalizing those feelings, which in my opinion is a terrible thing for parents to just like treat their kids in such a way that the child then has like no self-worth, no value. That was a very tragic part of the story, in my opinion. Because she felt so unloved, she decides one day to kind of go out. She wants to experience like the excitement of like the roaring 20s. Like she's, you know, looking for that adventure, and she wants to be able to go out and party. And I mean, most parents across all times don't really want their children out like carousing and getting into mischief and things like that, but she's in her 20s and she wants to go and like do, you know, things that young people do. And her parents are like, you know, you're not worth anything, no one's gonna want you, like just you're gonna stay here with us on the farm and just be a spinster all your life kind of thing. But she defies them, gets mixed up with one of the young men of the community, and from that point then the whole story kind of shifts, because there is like a pivotal moment that happens during their encounter, and pretty much that then dictates the rest of her life and the rest of the story. Her parents end up disowning her, and she's pretty much left her own devices. She has no idea what she's going to do, where she's going to go. Things kind of work out for her, work out in her favor, and from there our story just kind of chronicles her experience with being on her own. And yeah, just the idea of like she lives in Texas, and then like the Dust Bowl comes through, and like all of what happens with that, and like the Great Depression. My grandparents having been young people during the Great Depression, just that's something that kind of intrigues me, because it's like it kind of makes me feel like I have like this connection to them. My grandparents died when I was quite young, so I didn't really have a chance to like ask them like all of like the burning questions of like, so what was it like when you were this age? Or like, I mean, my grandma used to tell us stories from when she was a child, but like I wanted to be able to have like an opportunity to like really talk to her and like just understand that experience now as an adult, like finding out from her like what her thoughts are. Since I don't have that luxury or that opportunity, reading stories that would kind of characterize maybe some of the experiences my grandparents might have had was very interesting. So yeah, this book was just, like I said, very well written. quite long. It was 15 hours worth of listening as an audiobook, so I can only imagine the length of the number of pages of the book would be substantial. But it was a book that I didn't want to put down. Like, as I was reading through it, I was just like, this is a story that I can really get into. Like I said, the relationship between Elsa and her daughter, the life experiences that Elsa has with living during those times when like healthcare and things like that were not as readily available as they are now. Yeah, just a lot of stuff to think about. And then also like some of like the political climate of the time and how like this is a story that takes place like almost 100 years ago, and yet it's still so relevant today, and kind of some of the parallels between some of like the tragedies that happen with the Dust Bowl and all of like that climate related things. And then like the author was finishing up this book right around the time that the pandemic was happening, so she was kind of seeing like some parallels there and realizing that like there were very hard times in the 1930s, and you know, people struggled, but as a society we've kind of like pulled through, and there's still lots of things happening that, you know, are kind of like on the tail of all of that, and we still struggle with some of the things that we were struggling with then. But as a whole, people really are resilient and can pull through, and we all kind of have our stories and experiences, and that's kind of what builds our character and kind of carries us through life from moment to moment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So yeah, it was a very relatable story in that way. I have several books on the docket that I need to kind of plow through this week, so hopefully I'll be better about taking some time to get my reading done. But yeah, that's what I read this week, and it was very much what I expected from the description, and very much something that is right up my alley of things I like to read. So it was a good week all in all. What I've been watching, of course, General Hospital. Seems like there's going to be a lot of things coming up in the next couple of weeks. I haven't heard any talk about the Nurses Ball, which is something that I look forward to every year. So hopefully they're going to be doing the Nurses Ball. It's one of my favorite things about General Hospital every year. So we'll see what happens. I think they are kind of leading up to that with Trina and Gio. So hopefully that will be a big part of it, because the Nurses Ball last year was when Gio kind of fell apart. So maybe this will be like his redemption, and he'll be getting back into life as usual for Gio, under the encouragement from all of his friends. So we'll see what happens. I really like the way the storyline is going with Gio, and the fact that he started calling Brooklyn Mom. That's like really special and kind of cool that that happened again this week leading into Mother's Day weekend. So yeah, it's kind of cool how they're carrying that storyline through for all of that. We watched Will Trent, the season finale, this week, and I kind of saw that coming, the way the ending turned out for this season finale. Kind of mixed feelings about it. I'm happy for Will, but then again, like, there's a big part of it that was very tragic. So if you watch Will Trent, go ahead and put a comment about what you think of how they're taking that storyline with Angie and all of that. Like I said, I have my feelings on it. Then we watched RJ Decker, which I had high hopes for RJ Decker, and I think maybe if they get a season 2, it might pick up some momentum, but it was kind of hit and miss for me, the way the series is going. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not that into it. I'm not sure, but we'll see how it goes. 911 this week was super dramatic, and had me on the edge of my seat because I'm like, it's the season finale. They're gonna probably have it where somebody's gonna die or something. Like, they always do that, and then it's very frustrating because they're taking characters out that are characters that I really love. But this season finale didn't go that way, so I breathed a sigh of relief at the end of the episode. 911 Nashville ended very dramatically, and I am just like beside myself because I cannot wait to find out next season how this is gonna play out, because the very last scene left it as a cliffhanger, and I'm just like mind boggled. I want to know like what is happening. So having to wait until the fall to find out what happens with those two ladies is going to drive me absolutely bonkers, but I will be there for the new season come fall. Grey's Anatomy, I'm a little bit sad that Owen and Teddy left. I really love the character of Owen. I am glad that they left and didn't get killed. So there's always a window of opportunity for them to come back for like special appearances, or if they want to come back 5 or 6 seasons down the road. That's me being optimistic that Grey's Anatomy still has that many more seasons in it. Literally one of my favorite shows. I've pretty much like grown up with Grey's Anatomy, like, yeah. So pretty much all of my adult life I've been watching Grey's. So yeah, that's kind of amazing. One of my favorite shows of all time ever. I don't like when my favorite characters get killed off. I don't mind that they get written off because the actors want to go do other things, but I like it to be left open that if they want to come back, they can come back. So I'm glad to see that Kevin McKidd's character of Owen has the opportunity to possibly come back if he feels like it. And he said in an interview that I saw that he will be coming back more than likely to do some directing, so at least his presence will still be there. So yeah. And then we watched the season finale of Ultimate Baking Championship, which was so fun. As you all know, I love watching any kind of competition type of shows. The baking championships are always very intriguing to me because the skills involved and all of that, just like knowing how to bake, like the chemistry of baking is so precise. Like if you're off on anything, it can mean the difference between like a successful bake and disaster. So that's always very nerve-wracking watching the competitions, but then also just like a marvel that they can like do those things, and the knowledge that those people have to be able to pull that off is just unbelievable. I just think of like that craft kind of in the way that I think of my craft of crochet. Like I know how much time I've put into it, so seeing these people being able to do these things at the level that they do, knowing that that means like hours and hours and years of work for them to get to that level. I like watching the artistry of like not just the baking, like I said, the baking is very science-based, very chemistry, like you have to be precise, but then when they come into the decorating part of it, just that's like a whole nother like skill set. Like there's just so much that goes into that, and yeah, it just blows my mind when I see the things they come up with. And I mean, obviously there's hours and hours of work that goes into each bake that they do, and it gets condensed down to like an hour and a half of TV time. But just seeing it, and even that's kind of amazing that they can like have all those cameras in those kitchens and like capturing all of these different moments, and then the editing that goes into putting it, like boiling it down to like the most important parts of the show, just really leaves me speechless, I guess. Basically, like I watch those shows and just think of like all the work that goes in between the people that are baking, the people that are behind the scenes getting all of the program put together. Yeah, so this week was the season finale, and down to the last 3 bakers. All 3 of them were bakers that we were like, oh yeah, we like this or we like that. So we didn't really have a favorite going in. And then the person that won, I felt all 3 of them would have been deserving no matter who it was. But her reaction to being the winner was very fun to watch. Just like how it kind of like slowly hit her that like, oh wait, that's me, that's my name. So yeah, that was just, I don't know, it's fun to see other people experience like that success and that joy, and like knowing how much they work towards that. It's fun to watch other people be happy. Yeah, so this weekend is Mother's Day here in the United States. I don't really have any major plans. My mom is going to be out of town. She's going to be visiting with my sister and her family and watching my niece graduate, so that'll be lots of fun for them. And I'm so excited and proud of my niece for putting in all the work that she needed to do for her veterinary degree. So yeah, that's really cool. It makes me feel old because she's finishing college, but that's okay. All these young people getting older and entering into all of those adult spaces and doing all of these grown-up things, and yeah, it's just wild. So yeah, don't really have any big plans for Mother's Day, just kind of quiet times around the house. Maybe we'll do some like backyard lounging. I don't know if we'll grill or do like a little picnic. I'm not really sure. Whatever we do, it'll be a lot of fun because we'll be together. So yeah. If this is your first time here, thank you for taking time to give me a watch and hang out. If you enjoyed what you saw and want to come back for more, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more episodes. You can always go back. I have playlists of all of the previous episodes broken down into season 2 and the current season, season 3. Every episode that took place before 2025 is considered the lost season, and it's not put into a playlist. It's just like random videos that were put out there. So that's why you'll only see season 2 and season 3. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. For all of you that are returning viewers, thank you for coming by again and again. You know, I always like to know that you've been here, so go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know what your plans are for the weekend. Do you plant a garden? This is the right time of the year to be planting gardens. So if you do you do more like flower gardens, or do you do vegetable garden? I prefer to do the vegetable garden because then I can consume the bounty of my harvest. The flowers are cute and pretty and all of that, but I really like doing the vegetable garden. So yeah. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.